Hey, what's happening guys? I'm ika.himee and welcome to my channel and welcome to another Speedpaint Storytime. If you're new here and you don't know what Speedpaint Storytime is, it's basically where I record a Speedpaint and I tell you a story from my life to keep you entertained. So, without further ado, grab your asses, put them in a seat, get some popcorn, get some Coca-Cola because we're getting ready to tell the story about close encounters of the shark kind. And yes, I was waiting to tell you that title. I thought it was perfect. I was like really excited, so thank you for asking. So this probably takes place about 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not sure exactly how long ago it was, but you know, it was one of those. And you know, back when I was in 8th grade, now I wasn't in like 8th grade 2 or 3 years ago, okay? Don't think that. I'm an adult. So it was back when I was in 8th grade that we started going to the Florida Keys. And our first stop that year, we had gone and we decided to stay in Key West. So we go there and we spend a week in Key West, and I mean, I'm not saying that Key West is awful, but I'm saying that Key West is fucking awful. We were there in the summer. As I was in school, our only vacation opportunity was in the summer, unless I wanted to miss days, which I was, you know, never opposed to. I was always like, please just take me out of this fucking school, I hate it. But it was over the summer, it was our summer vacation, and if you aren't familiar with Florida, in the summer, it's hot as fuck. So, yeah, and when you go down to Key West, it is intensified. I am going to explain to you why it's intensified. And it's not exactly that it's like, well, it's just like 100 degrees all the time, because that's not always the case. But it's really hot there because the entirety of the island is built up like a dense city. I don't know why they built it that way, but they did. And, you know, it's like walking between two walls. There's no air getting in, there's no air getting out. It's like an oven, alright? Call me a fucking hot cross bun, because my ass is baking, alright? It is hot. And, you know, we had to walk everywhere because either there was no parking or parking was expensive. So, yeah, we were like, fuck that, we'll walk everywhere. And, you know, basically, like, your only other alternative is to have, like, a moped or, like, a Vespa or something. And, you know, obviously, we didn't have either. We were vacationing there. We, you know, hadn't really anticipated the fact that we wouldn't be able to park anywhere. So, yeah, we walked everywhere. And, guess who was a little goth bitch in middle school? Yeah, that would be me. So that means, black shirt, black pants, black hair. Everything was fucking black. The only thing that wasn't black were the fucking ugly ass tennis shoes that I had to wear so that my feet wouldn't fucking fall off. Like that was it. I was dying. I was always covered in sweat. It sucked ass. I hated it. And not to mention, the icing on the cake is that turns out Key West is a party town. It is nothing but bars. My family doesn't drink. We don't party. At the time, I was too young to even go into a bar, so yeah, there was really no redeeming qualities for Key West at that time. And you know, honestly, looking at it now, there's probably very little qualities that I would really even just go to Key West for, unless it was like specifically because there was like a trip out of Key West that I had to get to go to somewhere else. So I mean, that's basically it. I mean, aside from that and like Earthbound, you know, if you aren't familiar with that shop, it's like that's where the hippies go. It's like one of my favorite shops. I'm not saying that I'm a hippie, it's just, it's an earth shop. It's earthy. It has, you know, all that cool shit. And you know, Google it. I'm not telling you what this shop is. Fucking Google it. Anyways, so, hey, Anya, stop it. Stop it. That's a pool noodle. That's not for your fucking claws. Stop it. Sorry about that. So we decided, you know, the next year we don't want to go back to Key West because it was awful. And so, but we still want to go to the Keys because we like snorkeling. And yeah, I said snorkeling. It's that fucking ridiculous word that, you know, I don't know who came up with it, but you know, I swear to God they were making fun of everyone. I should just call it free diving. It makes me sound less stupid. Okay, so we decided that we want to go back to the Keys, so we were like looking at other Keys. Mom's like, hey, we're gonna go to Key Largo. So that's where we went, and then we liked it, and we've gone every year since. So basically this vacation is our water fun vacation. This is where we go to the beaches and we go to parks and we go on tours to go out snorkeling / freediving, and you know, that's basically what we spend our vacation doing. So if you're not familiar with the Keys, it is surrounded by reefs and tropical fish. It's really pretty. And there's one reef in particular that, I mean, we would almost go exclusively to this reef in our earlier years, but we kind of branched out later on because we're like, we're kind of bored with that. So this was Lukey, and I'm pretty sure at the time that this takes place, we were at Lukey. And Lukey is one of the more varied landscapes, I have to say. They have dull spots and they have very vibrant spots. They have shallow areas and very deep areas. So your shallow areas is where all your really bright corals are and your smaller fish, and then your trenches are where all your big fish are, and that's gonna be like grouper, and it's gonna be like barracuda and sharks and like stingrays and tarpon, like all of that stuff are going to be in like your big trenches. Now the trenches typically from like surface to ocean floor is about 30 feet. So it's kind of like a hazy blue down there and you can't always get all the details or whatever. But we are on the boat, we get off the boat, and my mom, she has a problem with the buddy system. We don't know why for the life of us. It doesn't matter what we say, we can't get her to stick with us. So it's either I am either with my mom or I'm either with my dad, and very few times am I with both of them at the same time. And usually my mom, she just kind of whoop 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 goes off and does her own thing, and you know, we don't see her, we don't know where she is, we're like, hope she's okay, because we don't fucking know because she's gone. So we nicknamed my mom Ariel, and that's because out of all of us, she freedives the most, and she would always freedive at like inopportune times. So I mean, we'd just be swimming, we'd just be kind of bobbing around like, oh, this is nice, and then you hear whoosh, and it's like, oh shit, Ariel, and she's like going down, and it's just like you see ass in your face, like you can't see anything because she's like right in your line of view, and you're like, oh my god, what the fuck. So I mean, it used to be like really irritating, especially when my dad was more into like taking pictures and stuff, because we had like an underwater camera thing. So, and you know, more when my dad was into taking pictures and videos of the fish and stuff, he would be like lining up to take a video or a picture of one of them, and then just fucking, here comes Ariel swooping in and scaring the fish away. Bye bye, flounder, see you later. So I mean, it was kind of infuriating back then, but like he stopped worrying about it more in like the later years, and now it's just like really funny and we just kind of joke about it. So yeah, I'm sure mom knows this, but hi mom, if you watch my videos, yeah, me and dad make fun of you for that because it's really funny. So at this time, she wasn't with us, she was gone, and it was just me and my dad, and we were following a fish, and he was like photographing, videotaping, I don't know what exactly, but he was always in charge of the camera, and the camera has like a little wristband so you don't drop it. And we were following, I'm pretty sure it was an angelfish, because out of all the fish that we like follow around, we probably follow those the most because they're the most colorful and most interesting ones. So we're probably following that one, and I think we got to like the edge of like the cliff, the reef cliff, and it was just like, it just drops into like a 30-foot trench. And we're like, okay, and we look out, and you know, this is usually like, you'll always scan out there because sometimes there will be a shark passing, but usually there's like nothing, you know, it's just like, oh, it's just blue water. But this time there was a shark, and it was a reef shark, and I would say he was probably about 5.5 feet. And we're like, oh cool. So my dad, he gives up on the angelfish, he switches to the shark, and we're like taking pictures of the shark and videotaping the shark, and we're just kind of like, we were following him a little bit, and then he would like swim, and then he would like disappear into the hazy blue water, and we're like, oh cool. And right when we were like about to go somewhere else, we noticed that he was coming back. So he came swimming through, and then he disappeared into the hazy blue water on the other side, and we're like, oh, that's cool, he came back. And then we were like, well, maybe he's gonna come back again, so we didn't really move. We were just kind of like hovering, just bobbing in the swells. And yep, sure enough, he comes back, and you know, each time he came back, it seemed like he was kind of like raising in elevation a little bit. So like he started like, you know, like 20 feet down swimming, and then he'd like come back and he'd be like 15 feet down swimming, and then he'd come back and it was like 12 feet down swimming, and then he came back again. And at this point, I want to say he was somewhere in the area of like 10 feet away from us. I'm pretty sure he was probably about 10 feet away, give or take. And he comes in and he's swimming. We're like, whoa, he's pretty close. We're getting some really good footage. This is really cool. And like, nothing has ever happened to anyone on the reef. No one has ever been attacked by a shark. No one's ever been like hurt on the reef ever. Like, no reports of this. So we're not worried at all. And the shark, he comes in and he's just kind of like, he's like right under us, and we're like, oh cool. And Dad's videotaping the whole time. And the shark gets like literally, like, his head passes like right where I am, and then like on a dime he flips up, he looks at us dead ass, and like you can see under him, and like his mouth is like slightly open, he's got like little choppers, and we're like, oh shit, and like Dad drops the camera, and like I probably jumped high enough in the air for people to mistake me for a whale, and like we 180 that shit, and we're gone. We are fucking outie. We don't look back. We just keep swimming. Dad doesn't worry about the camera. The camera is freaking like bobbing back behind him, like it's fucking, you know, creating like freaking drag. It was like he's like, fuck it, we're gone, we're out. And you know, we didn't look back. We don't know how far the shark followed us. If the shark followed us, we don't know anything. We didn't stop until we found that we were like in a safe distance, and occasionally like my dad we'd like look over his shoulder a little bit, glance just to make sure there was nothing there. So like when we found that there was nothing behind us, we stopped, and Dad stopped recording the video, and we were just kind of like, it took a while. We had to calm down, because we were just very relaxed, and we had an extremely exhilarating experience. So heart is racing. We were a little bit nervous, and we kind of laugh it off a little bit, but we're still a little on edge, and we had a little bit of time left in the water, so we just kind of like cruising around more of the shallow areas. We were like, all right, I think we're done with sharks for today, we're good. So we're just kind of cruising around a little bit, and you know, they call us back to the boat. We get on the boat, and this is like the first time that I see Mom in like 20 minutes. And she's going off about all like the cool stuff that she sees. Like, she's like, oh my god, did you see the stingray? Oh my god, did you see the angelfish? Oh my god, I saw this thing. And it's like, of course we didn't see that, Mom. We were like elsewhere. We don't know where the fuck you were, but you were gone. You were doing your Ariel thing, and we were all fucking over here. And she's like, well, what did you guys see? And we're like, we saw a shark. And she's like, oh, that's cool, what kind? And we're like, it was a reef shark. And she, you know, we're going down, we're giving her the specs of this fucking thing. And she's like, oh, that's cool. Did you get any videos? And Dad's like, yup. So she's like, okay, cool. So we explained to her what happened, and then, you know, later on we get back to the resort, and Dad posts the video on the computer, and he was like, hey, you wanted to see this video of the shark? And she's like, oh yeah, I did. So she comes over, and he's like, here you go. And like, we're all watching it, because it's like the first time that we've actually sat back and watched this video. And you see the shark, and you see him, he's just kind of calmly swimming by, and then he he does his turn thing towards us. He's fucking his little turn, and then after that is just like for a split second, and like at that point Dad had dropped the camera, and it was just bubbles, and you just hear whoosh, 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 whoosh. And that sound was us smacking the water with our flippers, trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. So yeah, we were pretty unsettled. That's never happened to us again. That's the only time it has ever happened to me. I don't know what the deal with the shark was. I don't know why he wanted to come close to us. I don't know for what reason he would ever think that coming near us was a good idea. I don't know if it was like our watches looked really appealing to him. We have no idea. And like, that's what's scary, because like animals in general are unpredictable. Now like, put into the mix an animal with like a tail that enables him to swim very quickly and tons of razor sharp teeth, and it's a little unnerving. But you know, I'm not afraid of sharks. You know, I've never been hurt by a shark, but you know, it was still unsettling. So that was my story about, you know, a shark that got a little too close. If you like this story, leave a like on the video. If you like my videos, go ahead and subscribe and be updated every time I post them. If you have ideas for other Speedpaint story times that you want to hear from me, leave a comment down below. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering all the stories from my life, so, you know, I could use a little refresher, and I'll see if I have any stories that meet, you know, maybe the story that you want to hear. If you want to support me on social media, all of that is in the description. If you want to give me money, which is always nice, and I always appreciate that. I have a Patreon up. You can check that out. I got some cool rewards, and I have a shop where you can buy my stuff. I have a 42-page art book available for purchase still in my shop, and you can get bonus prints with it. And I also have a 16-page mini manga available for purchase, so you can check that out in my shop. All the links are in the description box below for you guys. And I will see you next time. Bye.